This video is sponsored by Rodipolis.com. Hello, I am Ines Alea from ToleratedCinematics.com, and today I will be learning you how to create this. Okay, so this looks pretty cool, and we're going to accomplish this in Adobe After Effects. It's very easy to create, so everyone will be able to follow along, even if you're a beginner, and that's the fun of it. So it looks very cinematic, and it's actually a very nice clean intro. It's not overdone, and yet it's very simple to create, so that's very cool. So let's get started by creating a new composition, and yeah, name it introduction video or whatever, like whatever you want to call it. And we're going to make it full HD, so that's 1920 by 1080 and 24 frames, square pixels, 10 seconds long. Click OK. Then right click over here, create new solid, and we're going to rename it to BG and give it a black color. Click OK and OK, and we already have our background solid layer. So then go to the text tool or import your logo first. I'm going to be importing mine. I already imported it actually in here, so it's right over here. I'm going to import it right here, and it's actually set as black, so I'm going to add an effect. Go to channel, and I'm going to invert it like so. Then I'm going to press S on the keyboard to bring up the scale properties, and I'm going to change it to 60%, so it's a little bit smaller, a little bit more cinematic. Smaller things are more cinematic, but you have to take note that people are going to be seeing things sometimes on your smartphone, so you will have to see whatever works for you. So I'm going to pick my logo at 60% scale, and then I'll pick my selection tool and move it up while holding shift like so, and then centering it using the align here. If you don't see the align, you can go to window align, and then we'll bring up this tool here, and if you click over here on the horizontal center alignment and the vertical center alignment, it will center your logo perfectly. And then if you click on it and hold shift, you can move it up or down in a straight line. So there we go, we already have our logo here. So the next thing to do is add some text by clicking on the text tool and clicking on here. Make sure the paragraph mode is set to center, and then enter your name. So I'm going to be entering Tolerated Cinematics, yes, and then I'm going to select my text and change this value to 250 here. So that gives it some spread, really cinematic, very cool. Then I'm also going to center this on the horizontal axis, and I'm going to bring down my logo a little bit because I brought it up too much, and bring my text up. And I'm doing this here using the shift and the arrow up and down on my keyboard. Shift is going to make it faster, and if I'm not holding shift, it's going to be slower. So that's basically how to do that. So now the first thing I want to do is click on my text, go to animation, go to animate text, and I'm going to enable tracking. So I'm going to click on the stopwatch here for tracking. It's currently set at 0, so if I click on the stopwatch, move to the end, so that's 10 seconds long. And I'm going to change the value to like a low number like 2, and that's going to like expand my text over time, which also gives it a very cinematic look. So that's how to do this. Then the next thing rests us to do is the transition in. So we are actually almost there. It's a very simple intro to create. So let's go to our text. So we click on logo, or let's start with the logo first. Click on the logo, go to effect, and then we're going to pick blur and sharpen, fast blur. Then I'm going to put this at 50%, move to 1 second, click on the stopwatch as well, move to like 3 seconds or maybe even 4 seconds, and change it to 0. So that's 3 seconds in between the transition that I have right now. Then go to the beginning again and click on the logo, press T on the keyboard. That brings up the opacity properties, and click on the stopwatch as well. Then move that keyframe to 4 seconds over here and bring it down to 0 right here. So now we have this transition in like so. And actually we can increase the blur a little bit more at the beginning. So if you press U on the keyboard, it will reveal all the keyframes that you currently have. If you want to edit one keyframe, be sure that you're perfectly on top of each keyframe. You can do this holding the Shift key and then dragging over it. It's going to snap to that keyframe, and then you can adjust it and it's going to adjust that keyframe. So currently I have something looking like this. So the next thing I should do is click on the logo again, go to Effect, Distort, and Turbulence Displace. What we want to do here is change the amount to like 100 and the size to 50. Then we're going to click on both stopwatches here. Press U again to reveal these keyframes, and then drag to the end here and change the amount to 0. So what's that going to do? As it's going to, give it some displacement, and at the end there is no displacement anymore, but you can see the displacement isn't animated. We want to animate our displacement to give it some more cinematic feel, to show something. It's a little bit too static right now, so we're going to change the evolution to do that. If you change the evolution, you can see it's also animating the displacement, and we want to do this automatically, so we are going to alt click on our stopwatch, and then you can add some text here. We're going to add some simple coding, so that's time times, that's on your keyboard, time times 200. So that's this little star here, and if you click away, you will see our displacement is animating. So that's how to do this right now. And then we can click on our end keyframes, press F9 on the keyboard, or right click keyframe assistance, easy ease, and that's going to ease out at the end. Well, before we want to add some, we have our easy ease, but we want to ease it a little bit more than it's originally created in After Effects. So we are going to bring up the graph editor here, which you can see over here. If you click on here, we will see a graph editor, and we'll click on these yellow lines, and if we bring these out, it's going to take longer to come to a stop, and it's going to look a lot better. So this is currently our animation. One thing I think is that the displacement at the beginning is a little bit too much. I'm going to change the amount to 75. There we go. And it's, that's a lot better already. Okay, great. So another thing I want to do at the end is maybe change the size to 25. So it's going to also become, not 25, I mean 75, something bigger than the original one. So smaller and becomes bigger, and we have our logo to a stop, which is great actually. So now I want to select all my keyframes, press C on the keyboard while holding Ctrl, then go to the beginning of these keyframes, click on your text layer and paste. And that's all you have to do. You can also go to edit, copy, and edit paste, whatever floats your boat. So now we have our text and logo already animating in our video. So before we continue with our tutorial, I want to talk a little bit more about our sponsor. If you're looking to enhance your video, you should check out roadiepolis.com. It's a great website for visual effects artists, motion graphics artists, and filmmakers in general. I use it myself, and if you buy something from their website, you can use a code TOLERATED and you will get 10% off. So be sure to check out their website. They have lens flares, inked effects packs, also 3D models and stuff like that. So be sure to check out our website, and let's go to the tutorial again. Now we have to actually add some glow that is going to pop up, like it's giving some extra flare and stuff like that. So we are going to right click, new adjustment layer, and we're going to right over here, I think, which could be fine. We're also going to click on our text and our logo, press U on the keyboard again, and we're going to bring in the opacity just a little bit for both of these. So the opacity comes in at 100 sooner than everything else is done animating, which I think is a little bit better. So right over here at this timing, we're going to click on our adjustment layer, going to Effect, Stylize, and we're going to add some glow. And then what we can do is change the original colors to a different color. We can change this to a blue color. Like let's change this first. And before you change it to a blue color, make sure your text and logo are a little bit of blue. So go to Effect, Color Correction, and add some tint. change the white color of the tint to a very light blue color, like so, and then copy it for our logo as well. So now we have a blue logo and a blue text with a glow over here, so maybe an even darker glow, I don't know, and increase the intensity to something different, and also the radius like 250 maybe, and let's start with 1 and 50, or maybe 3 intensity, and then duplicate that glow and also increase the radius and increase the intensity, well, not that much, the 150 maybe, and 2.5, well, 2,5. There we go. So now we have this transition. Maybe your color should be a little bit, the color of the text should be a little bit more blue, and that's going to add with the glow a little bit. So if you're going back to this here, the bluer you make it, the better the glow will be. So, well, maybe this is a little bit too blue and it doesn't recognize. Okay, so it should be lighter, I'm sorry. So you'll change it to a very light blue color, and it's going to give us a very nice glow effect. So then back to the glow options, we're going to click on the stopwatch for glow intensity right around here. And if we press U on the keyboard again, we will see these keyframes. Let's move to the beginning of our animation and change these to a value of 0. So now there's nothing coming in with a glow. Whoa, a little bit too much. We'll change that in a second. Then at the end, we don't want any glow anymore, so we'll take this away. And now we have this animation. It should actually be a little bit faster away, so let's move it like this. And right over here, it shouldn't be as high, so we're going to change the intensity to 2 and 1 maybe. Even too much as well, so we're going to change it to 1 and 5. Okay, it should be very subtle. We don't want it to be overdone, so it's always searching it a little bit. So okay, there we go. This looks very cool. So now we have like an extra touch to our intro, and it's not very static anymore. So the next thing we should do is add some particles in the background, and I have actually used the particles from videocopilot.net. So if you go to videocopilot.net and you click on the blog here, you can search blog and you can enter particle, and then if you scroll down just a bit here, you can see free particle stock footage. Click on that, and then you can download it right over here. It's completely free, so you can download these here for free, and you can close this down again. Once you have these particles, you import them to After Effects. I actually used particle number 10, and I'm going to be importing that all the way at the bottom. You can see the reason why it's free is it because it's only 720p, so that's only HD and not full HD, but that doesn't really matter. If you're going to scale this up, you're barely going to notice it, and yeah, it's not for commercial use anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then you're going to Effect, Color Correction, and you're going to enable curves. We're also going to add some more contrast, so we're going to take away some of the grays and increase some of the highlights here. Make sure we don't see too much banding going on. That's because we scaled it and stuff like that. We can also improve this with adding some grain to our video, and that's something that we are going to do later on maybe. And so then we want to click on the reds and maybe increase the reds, or before we're going to do this, we're going to blue and increase the blues and take some away in the shadows, but not in the final shadows, like so. So a special curve like this here. Then if you're going back to red and we take some away, it's going to become a little bit more cyan color, and we're going to do this for the for the shadows as well. And then for the greens, we want to also take them away, so it's becoming a little bit more bluish, because before it was a little bit too green. And then you can actually just mess around with this. So now we have something like this. If we toggle this on and off, you can see it's a big difference. Another thing you can do is click on your adjustment layer and copy one of these glows and paste them on your particles, and maybe change the glow radius to 50, toggle off the stopwatch here and enter a value of 1, so it has a constant kind of glow here, maybe even 5 or so. It should be very subtle as well, 3. There we go. So now we have some glow to our particles, which looks great already. And now we can see we have a intro that is coming in our video like so, with some particles in the background. Maybe you could also add a very small texture to the background, but yeah, you can see this is looking very cool already with low effort. And creating this, it's just knowing how you should do this. Let's preview our intro. Okay, so this is looking very cool. The only thing that is kind of disturbing me is it comes in way too fast, like bam, and I want the opacity to take a little bit longer to come in. So I'm going to press U on the keyboard, click on the opacity key here, and click on the graph editor for our opacity and drag it out like this. So now it should be a little bit, maybe even more. Might be a little bit too much already. So it's just testing out these things. There we go. Okay, this is looking better. Okay, so there we go. This is actually perfect, I think. So let's preview this back. Okay, so this is looking very cool. Another thing you can do is select all your layers. Yeah, just close them down like this, and also go to layer, pre-compose, main, and then we have a composition with all our settings in. And then if we are going back to the composition of introduction video and click on this video here, we can press S on the keyboard, click a stopwatch. Let's disable the graph editor. Also for rotation, do the same thing. Then if you press U on the keyboard, you'll see these two keyframes, and then you can move them ahead like for 4 seconds or 5 seconds even, and then scale out or scale in just a bit, like 110, and rotate it like 5, and then go back into that main comp, right click, go to composition settings, and just expand it a little bit, like 2300 by 1200. And then it's up to you to just click on the background, scale it up so it has more blacks, and then also scale up the particles like so. And now if we're going back, you won't see these cutoffs. So now it's going to rotate very slowly to a stop here. And then you can also select all of these, press F9 on the keyboard, or right click, go to keyframe assistance and easy ease. So that's actually it to create a very cool cinematic introduction. One thing you can do that I told you a little bit before is to add some very subtle noise, and that's going to help with the banding in the video. So if we're going to noise and grain and add some noise of a value of 1%, you will see that will help a little bit with the banding, not too much anyway. So it kind of helped better in the past, so I'm not sure why that is. If we change the bits per channel here as well, it's also going to get better with your banding, but the glow is going to be a little bit different like here. Okay, so change the bits per channel to, let's say 16 would be enough, and the banding will be gone. So okay, there we go. Very cool. Let's play this back and let's see what we have now. Okay, so this is actually it for today. This is the intro we created. Hope you liked it, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. Also be sure to subscribe to my channel so you can keep up to date of all my upcoming tutorials. And also if you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll see what I can do to help you. Okay, so thank you for watching and take care. Goodbye.